Namaste, World Raiser. So what makes Hinduism, Sanatan Dharma, so incredibly powerful? When one dives into the highest teachings, the yogas found within, it's incredibly transformative. Can get people right into the very high levels of consciousness through the practice, through the teachings, through the dedication to do the spiritual work. And it's transformative. And I think it's the greatest hope for the world, because there's other religions that are, hell-bent on full conversion, thinking that there's no way for progress and for peace and harmony in the world unless everybody becomes one thing. And that's another reason why Hinduism is so powerful, because it's all inclusive. And it understands, well, the biggest thing is that it understands God, better than some of the other religions that just want to limit God to one name, one form, one way, one access, and you have to believe and become a part of us in order to access God. So, that's a limitation. And Hinduism doesn't have that. Hinduism allows for all conceptions, all possibilities. It's right in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the song of God. Sri Krishna states that, whatever people worship and however they want to access the ultimate reality, or whatever reality they want to access. If they worship the ancestors, they'll go to the ancestors. If they worship the lower deities, they'll go to those realms. If they worship ghosts, they'll go to those places. And that's why it's so important to understand that teachings, because whatever you're focused on, and these are the true false idols in the world, which would be desire, namaste, desire, like the greed, the lust. Those are subtle worshiping of these negative forces, these negative energies. And then you're going to go to realms of existence, after death, that correspond with those levels of consciousness. So Hinduism is basically all about transcending the levels of consciousness and getting into the higher states. Also within the Bhagavad Gita, it's the modes of material nature. So tamas, the low level, rajas, it's passion. And then sattva, which is more blissful, loving, equanimous, content states of being. So peace, love, joy. And that's where we need to get. So there's no salvation, there's no liberation or enlightenment if we don't get into those higher states first, and that's the practice. And that's taught as well within the other religions. Christianity, for example, you need the grace of the teacher, of the guru, of Jesus to save you, but you still have to put in that effort, right? So there's no salvation without the works. You can't just rely on God entirely if you're still doing a whole bunch of negativity out there, right? And that's ultimately the power of Sanatan Dharma, the dharmic faiths, to transcend the lower levels, right? So Buddhism, very much a part of that, and that's what it's all about. It's trying to undo the negative forces that bring about suffering. So we're trying to escape the suffering of rebirth into this realm. And that's the whole purpose of this realm. It's like a kindergarten, a purgatory, because we have access to the whole gamut. We have the hell realms and the heavenly realms right here on planet Earth. And it all depends on your level of consciousness, your attainment on the spiritual journey. So there's going to be periods of great suffering, intense, and then you do the work and you come out of it, and then you can be in the higher states. And then if you've learned your lessons and you pass the tests, then you'll be able to maintain those higher states, perpetually. That's what it's all about. And then at the time of death, no big deal. You embrace it without fear, and then you'll be able to enter into some heavenly realms of existence, because those are real. If we think that this realm is real, yeah, it's very, very complex creation, but it's a piece of cake to the one infinite source of absolutely everything in existence that's created an infinite number of infinite universes with just a fraction of his power. So ultimate teachings. And yeah, to access that power, you got to practice, right? So the yogas, once again, bhakti yoga, devotion to the ultimate, by whatever name, whatever form, but ultimate, unlimited. If you're holding that in mind, source of absolutely everything and everyone, and you're letting go of the judgment and the placing restriction on others, and you're understanding that everybody's free, right? So you're letting go of control, manipulation, and you're surrendering, you're doing your work by surrendering. And then you're practicing the karma yoga, which is service. You're doing your dharma, your duty, and you're helping others, you're caring for others, praying for others. Doing good in the world will help to undo, yeah, past negative karmas. So you're purifying the soul, right? And then the Raja Yoga, meditation, analyzing the body, speech, and mind, getting into a state of awareness and feeling what is arising within the mind, which helps to figure out what's going on, to sense it, and then see what needs to be let go of. And then practicing, pure awareness, really getting in touch with the innermost self, which is beyond the thinking mind, right? It's just pure consciousness, pure awareness. You tap into that, yeah, and then big progress. Helps to let go, because it's the ego that's clinging on to these negativities, the hate, the victim mentality, right? So it's the pure consciousness that wants to see it as just, it's arising, it's a play, it's something that needs to be worked on and transcended, right? So then, and all of this wisdom is coming about through the jnana yoga, right? So the yoga of wisdom and knowledge. So extraordinarily powerful. So that's diving into the ancient scriptures, the highest teachings, the highest texts. Yeah, so you got to be drawn to a book, drawn to a text, and there's many great spiritual teachers out there right now. And then, of course, the ancient scriptures, the Vedas, Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, just those in themselves is enough to last a lifetime of spiritual work and practice. So, and then you have many New Age spiritual teachers that are very accurate in what they're teaching. Eckhart Tolle, Dr. David R. Hawkins, and he's calibrating the levels of consciousness that you see everywhere. Yeah, he's the one that introduced that into the mainstream spirituality, right? So very profound, right? So the new earth, the power of now. We need to, yeah, really focus on what are we doing? How are we practicing? What is happening? What is arising for us? What are we suffering from? Are we lonely? Are we scared? Are we full of fear? Are we angry? Are we hurt? Did we lose something precious? These are all incredibly important opportunities and gifts if we take them appropriately, because it's a true battle. Yeah, I talked about spiritual warfare and how, yeah, we have to use the power of God and the power of our own spiritual innermost self, to protect ourselves from these negative forces. Set an intention to seek the higher levels, liberation, enlightenment, salvation, because that's ultimately what's going to lead us to those states. Because it's also taught that those in the lower levels, if you're in the lower levels, there's a higher chance of staying in the lower levels. When you're there, you tend to be going down in consciousness. Nothing is ever standing still. Everything is constant change. So you're either going up the levels of consciousness or down. So keep that in mind, set the intention, use the incredible power of Sanatan Dharma to practice and elevate yourself. Raise your level of consciousness, raise the world. So let me know, leave a like, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.